last thing I would like to introduce now is a model called the U process of heuristic discovery, and it's a social technology that was first coined by a guy called Brian Arthur, who is the head of the Santa Fe Institute, which is a part of, I think, Intel. And in this institute, great discoveries were made again and again, like Macintosh was invented there, the mouse of the computer was invented there, and many other things. And I think Brian Arthur got a whole number of Nobel Prizes for his work, although Intel was never really able to capitalize on that. And he was interviewed by two guys called Otto Scharmer and Joseph Jaworski, who were basically social theorists and very interested in leadership and innovation. And they were searching for what creates real innovation, and they were interviewing hundreds of people, and they came up with this model, which Brian Arthur kind of brought them onto the track of that. And it's the U process of heuristic discovery. So when I came across that model, which was just a few months ago, probably a year ago, I was so happy about it that I was totally enthusiastic and bouncing off the walls for about 3 or 4 or 5 days, because it made so much sense to me, and suddenly I had a theory, a model that could help me explain the method and the methodology that we had been working with at Easy Day for now almost 10 years, or we had developed over that time. So I find it really useful. So now I need a little bit of time to draw. If we encounter a challenge or a problem or an issue in life, what we usually do is we draw on our memory, we draw on our patterns of thought in order to apply it. Yeah, we draw on something that we experienced before, usually often in early childhood or childhood. Certain ways of reacting have developed, and in this model it's called downloading. So we just grab onto our memory, onto the past experiences, usually subconsciously, and just react in a way. So downloading kind of refers to the memory in this sense is the hard drive. So and we download something from the hard drive. I heard that the other day a friend of ours, one of the guides, was explaining downloading, and he told a little story that I thought was quite funny. And it was when I was at university. We had a big party in our house, student party, and the whole house got completely messed up. I was in Edinburgh, and two of my flatmates actually, they had this big puppet gorilla, and they sliced it open, and inside were like millions of little styropor balls, and they were all over the flat, spread out, all in the beer, and it was just glass, broken glass everywhere. And the next morning, after the party, they got up, and some friends were still around, and they just packed up their stuff, and they loaded up the car and said they're off now to go kayaking for a week. And I was having just breakfast there, and oh wow, no, they must be joking. Like, I couldn't understand that they're actually just walking off and just leaving this total mess with me and not clean up. So I was sitting there, and they left the house, and at some point I got, like, my anger was building up, and I was downloading, and at some point I just ran downstairs where they had been, and jumped out of the door, and the first person I saw, which was one of my friends, I just kicked him and said if they don't come up straight away and clean up the house completely. I'll throw out all their shit. So, so that's downloading, and I think it happens to us, you know, a lot and all the time. So you can imagine a computer and you just take what's on the hard drive, regardless if that works or not. We know it all from relationships, for example. Somebody, my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, she might say something to me and it triggers something in me, something maybe that I experienced in my childhood, and I react. Maybe she criticizes me and I react in a way, in my pattern, that is, for example, to start to be upset about her or to be aggressive or to talk back and show her that I'm actually right and that she's wrong. So that's downloading. Downloading. So the key to enter into the you is right here. Is right there when I meet the challenge and the issue or the problem, is to avoid downloading. And I do that by suspending, by being open-minded and not letting myself be overwhelmed by my patterns of thought, by my acquired patterns. So I need to go into a different level of awareness. And maybe you talked about mindfulness or experiential presence. That you see, you know what is actually happening, what is actually going on in your own mind, in your own emotions, in your own thoughts, and you see, now these thoughts come up, these feelings come up, but you see them. You see them as they rise, and you stop yourself from just reacting to it. You just suspend, yeah? It's okay, they come up, but you suspend, and you just look at them. You look at the issue, at the problem, open-mindedly. And like that's really the crux. That's why mindfulness practice, or however you want to call it, is so important. This new, different kind of level of awareness, of being aware of what is going on in the moment. Because only then you can penetrate into this bubble, into the you process. And now you've managed to suspend, and you start to observe, to really look, to gather information, to look at what's going on. You need to have a different level of consciousness, a different kind of mindfulness or experiential presence, that we are not just flushed away by the situation, but can step back and look at it and try to see it with fresh eyes, and then only then we are here. But this is really the key. The key to even enter into this process of innovation, of finding out something new, doing something different. And then we get to this stage, which Ryan Author called observe, observe, observe. And here we are just really stopping, stepping back and just looking at what is there. We don't do anything, we just start to look very closely. We start to find as many perspectives on the issue that we can find. We start to study it, for example, read about it, have dialogue about it, and then we slowly move down the you, and after we've really studied and gathered as much information as we could, we get to this level, which is sensing. So here it's seeing, here it's sensing. Sensing is already now, first, here we are, so you'd have to be, to get to this point you have to access your open mind.